Spurgeon here with RevZilla, and today we're going to take a look at the MSR Xpedition LX Helmet available at RevZilla.com. So for you riders out there looking to get into the world of adventure riding, you want an adventure helmet, but you're not sure exactly where to start, this is going to be an entry-level adventure lid from MSR. You're looking at a polycarb shell, 3 pounds, 14 ounces in a large, and it will carry an ECE DOT rating. Now we say entry-level, normally I would knock this for being a heavy helmet. At 3 pounds, 14 ounces, it's definitely not a featherweight. However, traditionally speaking, adventure helmets come in a little bit heavier, and this is going to sit right around the same weight as something like the Shoei Hornet. So just keep that in mind. 3 pounds, 14 ounces for an adventure helmet, while it's still heavy, it's not one of the most egregiously heavy helmets that we've ever seen come through this line of helmets. Now, like I said, DOT ECE rated fitment for this. Intermediate oval, longer front to back, narrower on the side of the head. It's going to work for the majority of you riders out there in the American market, and it comes in around the $170 price point. So what you're wondering if you're looking at MSR's lineup is, Spurgey, why am I going to spend the money for the LX version of this when it's an extra $30 over the regular Xpedition? Here's what you get. On the table in front of me, you can see two helmets. These are both going to be the LX version. On my left-hand side, I have taken the black and high-vis orange helmet and I've removed the peak. So, with the LX version, the main change you get is it includes these side pods, which will allow you to transform it from a dual sport style helmet or an adventure style helmet into more of a street fighter style. The other two main changes you get is they add an anti-fog coating to the shield on this and an antimicrobial liner. So, three things you're getting by spending the extra $30. You're getting the side pods, you're getting the anti-fog coating, the face shield, and you're getting the antimicrobial liner. If those three things do not matter to you whatsoever, save yourself the $30 and buy the regular MSR Xpedition. The only thing that I could really see that you might be spending the extra money for would be, that removable peak pod. But if you really like that and you don't care about the other two things, you can spend $10 and just get that pod kit separately from MSR. So just keep that in mind when you're figuring out which helmet is right for you. Now, breaking down the Xpedition LX. Like I said, this is going to be a polycarb shell, one shell size available from the sizes extra small up to 2XL. And that's really where the price point comes into play. So we talk about, helmets that are coming in around the $170 price point versus helmets that are coming in around the $300, $400 price point. More expensive helmets, they're allowed to develop, wider varieties of shell sizes. So you might get 3 shell sizes. So a smaller helmet gets a smaller shell. With the Xpedition, you're going to have one shell size that's going to work through the entire lineup, and then they change the interior thicknesses of the pads to accommodate, the actual fitment for the different sizes. So for venting with this, they're going to claim that there's 8 intake vents on this, and then you've got 4 passive exhaust vents. Keep in mind, they're including that front chin vent as 4 separate vents. I'm going to say there's probably 5 true vents on this. That one chin vent up front is 1. You've got vents coming down the side here, and then you're going to have 2 chimney vents up top, which are going to be active, so you can close those off if you want to, and they're going to sit below the peak. You can see them nicely over on the black and orange version. They're going to sit right underneath the peak if you are having the peak on, and just a little switch in the top actuates the opening and closure of those vents. Now, when we flip this around to the back, you are going to have 1 active vent on the top, and you can see that the switch for that will activate the 2 vents on the side, and then you're going to have 2 more passive vents down at the bottom. Excuse me. So overall, what you have from MSR is a really nice shell. The shape, you're going to be able to use goggles with the visor or with the face shield for this. If you've never really gotten into off-road riding, that's a tremendous help. By using the face shield, if you really start breathing heavy, even with an anti-fog coating on there, it tends to fog up and it really just kind of inhibits your riding. So one of the things you can do is you can pull this off, you can use a set of goggles with this, and it's going to work really nicely if you are starting to push your limits off-road. So let's take a look at the inside of the helmet now. Flipping this up, we're going to start by removing the cheek pads, and you're going to see simple 3-snap design. And like I said, really the addition that you're getting with the LX version is an antimicrobial lining to this, just to help to keep all that funky sweat that you're pouring into this from stinking up your helmet. If you do, start to notice a little bit of odor, really easy to pull these out, and you can clean them with just a little bit of Johnson's & Johnson's baby shampoo, a little bit of water. If you're not familiar with how to clean a helmet, we did a great breakdown video on cleaning the interior as well as the exterior of your helmet. And for you dual sport adventure riders out there, chances are you're gonna get your helmet dirty and funky, full of any kind of swamp water, mud, muck, so you will probably be cleaning it on a regular basis. Simple interior, easily removed. One of the things that I like is that there's no snaps along the forehead. They went with a brow mount to this, so no undue pressure points where you might notice them on some other manufacturers. I like that thought out design from MSR. And then when you're taking a look at the inside of this, you can see there is going to be a channeled cutaway within the EPS liner. Nothing crazy, but they do have some indentations in there in the EPS to help channel the airflow through. So those vents that you have in the front, you can see directly vent right in, and they do a nice job of just channeling that airflow down. The one thing you will note, if you're looking on the inside here, there are no cutouts for speaker pockets. So if you are someone that likes to use a comm system, just keep in mind you're not going to have any cutouts there. So by incorporating speakers into this, might be a little bit of pressure on your ears. For an entry-level dual sport helmet, I think MSR did a nice job. I don't know if I would spend the extra money going up into the LX version. If it were me, I would probably just go with the standard Xpedition. But for those of you out there that want to use this as a street fighter, you like the idea of the anti-fog coating, and you like the idea of that antimicrobial, which helps you just kind of not have to wash your helmet as regularly, the LX might be the version for you to consider. Now we're seeing an increasing amount of riders incorporate MSR gear onto their rides, and if you want to hear more about what they have to say, click the info button on your desktop or mobile device, which is going to allow you to read other rider reviews from folks that are already out there putting an Xpedition helmet through its paces. If you have more questions for one of our gear geeks as to which helmet is right for you, give them a shout, 877-792-9455, or simply shoot us an email, cs@RevZilla.com. Thank you for joining us for this look at the MSR Xpedition LX helmet. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.